JB here. Welcome to Monday, February 10th, about 3:22 in the afternoon. Talk really quick about the market, some names I'm looking at, go from there. S&P is rallying against the trend from the last two Mondays. S&P is up about 0.7%. The NASDAQ is up over 1%. The Dow's up 0.3%. And you start reading headlines in some words, tariff fatigue or what have you. It's funny. Oh, people are fatigued of the tariffs. It's just whatever story they can come up with. China stocks are up. A lot of the China ADRs are rallying today and hitting highs right now. And then you look at the headlines on that, and it says China stocks are rallying as Trump postponed the tariff on stock on parcels less than $800, right? But that was last week's news, number one, and number two, it wasn't Trump who did that. So it's just funny. Everybody just tries to rationalize the market moves. I like it here. I mean, nice. It was boring since about 1 o'clock. We've been chopping around that 605 handle. Like to me, it's a good thing here. And I've been talking about it this morning, and then Friday around this lower highs and lower lows situation we have the S&P, but we can negate that with a move to highs, right? So if we can get over 610, get to that 611 handle this week, then that scenario kind of is removed, and then we move on to another scenario. So a nice action here today. I guess the half glass empty, glass half empty scenario is that we have yields are higher and the U.S. dollar is higher. So definitely something to watch. But VIX is down back in the 15s. So we'll see how things play. We still have earnings. Again, we have Fed Chair Powell, 10 o'clock tomorrow. I guess he had prepared remarks came out already on Friday. I have to look into that. But, he's not going to give any more detail in regards to, once the meeting starts, it's all just these politicians trying to make themselves look important with questions they probably don't even know what they're asking. They just ask them to look important, right? And then there'll probably be questions around his job status, right? Is Powell worried about getting fired or what have you? So it's more entertainment throughout the day if you want to watch and get some entertainment while the market's moving. So that's tomorrow, Wednesday. Again, we have CPI data. That'll be definitely an important data piece Wednesday morning. PPI data Thursday morning. Retail sales on Friday, and then a slew of earnings still. I think it's 77 to 500 S&P companies report this week, but needless to say, decent amount of stock companies reporting. And then I always look at this, but sometimes I don't share it, but the amount of stocks trading over the 50-day moving average, still only 50%, but you can see it's well off those levels that it was hitting on those dips that we had. And then certainly something to look for bottoms. I think it's more telling of market bottoms than tops, because you can see every time we get to about 10% or so on the amount of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average, that's when the market seemed to have bottomed. So definitely something I'll be watching if we do get any kind of serious pull. So that's overall market. So individual names, I was just mentioned before in the chat, Roku spiked out of the gate. It was kind of gapped. It was like 86, 87. And once the market opened, it just started rallying all the way up to 91.61 at about 10:30. And then whoever was buying just hit the exits. They just left for the day. And now it's just been a melt ever since, down almost $5 from those highs, 86.79. Hopefully it closed over 86.75. That's the December highs. The 52-week highs is 99, back from February 15th of 2024. So I don't know if we get that this week before earnings, but for now, I'm just going to continue to hold my calls, my rant there. And also you look at TTDs rallying today. Netflix up nearly 16 bucks, hit 1032 all-time highs today. I think it's just a trend that's going to continue as long as the market holds its ground. So that's Roku. Teladoc, it was up 30% last week. It gapped and go this morning. Actually, it sold off a little bit at the open, all the way down, like it was like 13 bucks, like a quick flash, and then it just took off. And then within a matter of 10 minutes or so, it's at 14.75, almost near 15 bucks. If you had told me it was hitting 15 bucks last week when I got to March 15s, I would say, yeah, I'd probably be all out of position, but it happened so quickly. So I went and locked some more in of my March 15 strikes. And then, I don't want to be in, I was talking about adding the Aprils, but they don't have good strikes, right? So in lieu of doing that, so I locked the March 15s for a little over 600%. Then I went and got the March 20s. More as a FOMO, right? So I took some of the profits and rolled them into the 20s. Just because, like I said, earnings in a couple weeks, I think that could be the next catalyst, especially if there's any upside surprises. And I think it just trades high regardless, right? So that's kind of the thought process there. So that's Teladoc. So that's probably all a hold for now, pending any crazy updates or things like that. So until earnings maybe, and then reevaluate. So that's Teladoc. Uh, TripAdvisor still holding up pretty nice. Bull flag still setting up. I would like to have seen better continuation here today. It's only up 1%. Sitting here at 1850. 1975 or so in the coming days. That's my thoughts there. Still looking to get out some of my more the February not the February, excuse me, the June 21s. I'll do that at some point, and then I'll just ride the Marches and then look for some other strikes. So similar to Teladoc, it's hard to find decent strikes on ththose ones. All right, then some other names, Arista Networks, and a lot of the semi names are running. You see AMD, Nvidia, and then Super Micro, even Dell's running today, and you would have thought that would have that if you had said those names were up a lot, I would say, oh wow, Arista Networks can be up 4% today, and that's not the case for some reason. You look at like even Broadcom's up nearly 5%. Maybe it gets a bit here into the afternoon. It was looking great at the open, and then it's just been chopping around this 120 handle. Still love this one for upside. They report earnings next week, so I would like to have gotten longer dated strikes, but the premium's too insane. But I think it trades over 125 this week, so that's kind of thought there. Once my calls get to a double, I'll lock them out. I'll lock some out, and then to cover costs and ride the rest. But that's that. I was looking at Baidu all morning, and you see Baba just on a tear here today too. Again, headlines: China stocks are rallying in sympathy to the DeepSeek. To DeepSeek or something like that. I'm like, they can't even figure out why they just have to make up stories to get someone to click on it. But all the way up to 94.23 just a little bit ago. I was actually looking at the 100 weeklies, but you know what? I've been trading the Baidu calls for the last couple of weeks. I'll sit on my hands maybe to see what happens tomorrow, because it seems like every time it gets to 95, 96 over the last 2 weeks, it finds pressure and then reverses. So maybe this time is different, but I don't want to try and trade this one to see if this time is different. That's not the best trading plan. So I'll sit on the sidelines for now. I was just talking about Netflix, and the last couple of weeks I've been talking about. I think it hits 1100 in the coming weeks post earnings. You saw some consolidation after its gap, so kind of held up, and now I was saying 1025 last week. I think it closed at 10 somewhere in there, and then maybe 1050 this week. It's moving slow, so the premiums are tough. Uh, for at least for how I trade, I'm not going to get a contract that's $3 to sell it for $4 in 2 days. I mean, that'd be great if that's what it gave me, but I'm looking for better than that, right? So I'm looking to get it for 30 cents and sell it for 100, for $1.20, right? That's kind of the trade I would do, or a dollar and sell for $8. So right now I don't see any decent risk reward setups there in regards to the calls, but certainly watching that as a possible spec call this week. I think again 1100 probably, and then revisit. That's that one. Still looking DocuSign here, and it was actually hanging up around the 92 handle for a while today, and then just found some pressure here in the afternoon. At some point, I was hoping it was going to hold the 50-day. It's 92.03. It's the 50-day moving average. Maybe it gets over that before the close. Definitely a name I'll be looking to place some calls on. And then Lemonade finally got some calls today. And, I was saying in a rant this morning, the premiums are insane for earnings. It's like 24%. I have to see what the updated implied volatility, implied move is, but it's insane. So for me to trade at, I mean, I think there's going to be another upside surprise. It's got to be a monster beat, because there's so many folks on the bear side that they'll just pressure it, right? It's what they do. So I don't want to be in a spot where I'm holding calls into the earnings, and the premium is too rich to try and play calls for premium build into earnings. So I just got some strikes for next week. It's only going to take a little kick in the butt. So I don't think it's going to take much, and it's going to be off to the races. That's that. Trying to think of. Yeah, that's it, folks. Yeah, I think it was one of my top 5 stocks, Axum Therapeutics. Such a great story. Ticker AXSM. They have like a huge pipeline. And I don't know if it was the pain medicine. What one of their let's see. I think it was, right. It's like a $6 billion market cap, but it's like one of those names that it's like VRTX, Gilead, maybe, Regeneron, names like 10 years ago when they were like 100, like Regeneron, when it was, $50, right? And I was saying Axon at $127, $6 billion market cap's like undiscovered, but it's one of those names, you could look back in 2 years and it'll be $500. So I don't want to chase it here, but definitely a name I'll be watching over the next week or two. The thing is, I had calls on it when it was my top five stock. Maybe it was last year. Maybe did I do it last year or the year before? And despite the amazing story it had, and sometimes it would have great data, great earnings, great updates, and the stock just never could get going. So maybe this is finally the catalyst that it's like, okay, now it's ready to run. And then you look back and maybe come April, May, it's gonna be a $200 stock. So just one, keep on the back burner. Don't be surprised to see it on a watch list one day or you see me at calls. And that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back. Rock and roll.